Hi, this is Jeffrey Geisner, founder of the Jewish Culture and Holocaust Remembrance and the One Revolution Stand Against Hate International Communities. I hope you will enjoy We're Still Here, Surviving Art with a tribute to Nathan Diament, a dear friend and survivor, a member of our JCHR community, and who we lost just a few months ago. May his memory always be a blessing. Amen. Please share this video widely, as it is my hope and Nathan's to extend Holocaust and anti-Semitism education worldwide. See you on the other side.
They told me I'd never get to tell my story. Too many bullet holes. It would take a miracle. These voices inside my head like poison, trying to steal my hope, silencing my soul. But my story is only now beginning. Don't try to write my ending. Nobody gets to sing my song. This is the sound of surviving. This is my farewell to fear. This is my whole heart deciding I'm still here. I'm still here. And I'm not done fighting. This is the sound of surviving. These pieces, the ones that left me bleeding, intended for my pain, became the gift you gave me. I gathered those pieces into a mountain. My freedom is in view. I'm stronger than I knew. And this hill is not the one I died on. I'm gonna lift my eyes and I'm gonna keep on climbing. This is the sound of surviving. This is my farewell to fear. This is my whole heart deciding I'm still here. I'm still here. And I'm not done fighting. This is the sound of surviving. I'm still here. Say it to the end, lying there awake. Say it to your tears. I'm still here. Say it to the pain. Say it to the rain. Say it to your fear. This is the sound of surviving. This is my farewell to fear. This is my whole heart deciding I'm still here. I'm still here. And I'm not done
children were brought over to England in 1939. That's 49 years ago, from Prague in Czechoslovakia. They were all in the gravest danger because they were Jewish, some of them orphans, their parents might have been arrested, or maybe the parents were just intellectuals or communists, the kind of people that Hitler really hated. If they hadn't been rescued and brought over to England, these children would have been killed by the Nazis. But in fact, they were saved by an English stockbroker called Nicholas Winton. In all, Nicholas Winton and the committees who helped him managed to save 664 children. This is his scrapbook. There are all kinds of fascinating pictures in it. If you look at the very back of this scrapbook, fascinating things in it, all the letters. But back here, you will see, is the list of all the children and the foster families who took them in. Mr. Winton told us.
My greatest disappointment came in September that year, when 250 children were ready to come over. On the very day they were due to leave, war broke out. I can't imagine what became of those children.
And in fact, there's a letter here in the scrapbook explaining that the work, all the work regarding the bringing over of children into this country has had to be postponed until further notice. And that, of course, is because war broke out. I'll show you one other thing that struck us very touching. Here, if you just have a look here, you can see little composites of the pictures of the children as they were then. I don't know if you can see that. And here, if you look, there's their names, and this one here, it says placed. You see, there the children are. We asked Mr. Winton how he feels knowing so many people owe their lives to him. He said,
I'm only disappointed I couldn't have saved more. So many lives could have been saved if people at the time had realised the urgency. It's heartbreaking.
But still, his achievement is wonderful. Now, Mr. Winton himself has traced one of those children, Rudolf Vesely, who is with us here tonight. There he is. Good evening, Mr. Vesely. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you.
And we've actually managed to find 3 more. This is Vera Diament when she was 10. Now she's Vera Gissing. Until we told her this week, she had no idea that Nicholas Winton had in fact arranged her rescue. But we did find her name, Vera Diament, as she was then, on his list. So we told her about him. She said,
I tried very hard to find out who had rescued us. I even tried the Archbishop of Canterbury to see if he knew, but I drew a blank. I would very much like to meet Nicholas Winton to thank him for saving my life. If it hadn't been for this man, I wouldn't be here to tell the tale.
Vera Gissing is with us here tonight. Hello, Vera. And I should tell you that you are actually sitting next to Nicholas Winton. Would you mind hanging on to your handkerchief, because we found 2 more of those children. One of them is called Hanush Schnabel. He was only 11 when he came over here. We have his passport with all the official stamps on it. I don't know if you can see. This is how he got out. He told us.
I don't know how my rescue was arranged. I had no idea when I left my parents at Prague station that I would never see them again. My older brother was supposed to come here in September, but war broke out and I never saw him again either. I hoped all through the war that they would survive, but they were gassed in a concentration camp. I've often wondered who was responsible for organising my rescue. I would dearly love to meet him and thank him for helping us children without any hope of acknowledgement.
Hanush's name is on Nicholas Winton's list. They call him Hans there, you see. Hanush is here tonight, so you too can thank Mr. Winton. Story for you. Milena Fleischmann. She had to escape when she was 9 with her little sister because her father had helped the author Thomas Mann to escape, so he was on the Nazis' wanted list. She told us.
If it was Nicholas Winton who helped me to escape, my sister and my cousin with me, then I would be honoured to meet him, to thank him. If it were not for him, I would have gone the same way as my cousins, who both ended up in concentration camps.
Once again, Milliner is on Nicholas's list. You see her there. But she is now Lady Milliner Grenfell-Baines. And there she is. Milliner, I believe you still have the name tag you wore around your neck when you arrived as a little girl at Liverpool.
I wore this around my neck. And this is the actual pass that we were given to come to England. And I'm another of the children that you saved. May I say that my mother is watching this evening. Yeah. She is 84 and she too was rescued and is in England and watching this programme this evening.
There you are, Mr. Winton. Well, a lot of memories brought back. I hope you now realise how grateful people are to you for what you've done. I know you don't want thanks, but I think you're certainly going to get them. Thank you so much for joining us. As many as possible of these grown-up children to get in touch with us, so they'd have the chance to thank Mr. Winton personally. Can I ask, is there anyone in our audience tonight who owes their life to Nicholas Winton? If so, could you stand up, please? Mr. Winton, would you like to turn round? You'll have the chance to meet these people properly after the programme. In the meantime, Mr. Winton, on behalf of all of them, thank you very much indeed.
Seconds to on air.
Okay, and you are just here.
Good night. Sit farther back.
Story about a young man who many years ago visited Prague. What he found there were thousands of refugees at the mercy of Hitler's imminent invasion.
Do you ever think about the children and what happened to them?
Looking to evacuate these children by train to safety in Britain.
Why are you doing this, Mr. Winton?
Because I may be able to do something about it. I must.
Go now.
Nikki, you must know we cannot save them all. You have to forgive yourself that.
You can. You have a lot of faith in ordinary people.
Because I'm an ordinary person. Save one life, save the world.
Forgive me, but how many children are we speaking about?
Can I ask, is there anyone in the audience tonight who owes their life to Nicholas Winton?
Looking for memories in stone, 93-year-old sculptor Shelomo Selinger is one of the last survivors of the Holocaust. He was just 14 years old when he was deported from his home. Over the span of 4 years, Selinger was interned at 9 concentration camps. In his charcoal drawings, we see the horrors he witnessed. The artist's memories appear in flashes.
C'est l'assassinat de mon père. Ils ont introduit un tuyau dans sa bouche et ouvert le robinet comme ça. Ils l'ont fait éclater de l'intérieur. À partir de certains moments, je suis resté seul dans l'enfer.
When the war ended, Selinger was at Theresienstadt concentration camp in today's Czech Republic. Lying among dead bodies, he was miraculously found alive.
Le commandant, il a trouvé que je ne suis pas tout à fait mort et il s'est acharné pour me rendre la vie.
He spent 1 month in hospital afterward and suffered from amnesia for 7 years.
Grâce à à l'oubli que je puisse me reconstruire. Et la sculpture après a pris le relais qui me permet de vivre.
Selinger's mother and younger sister were murdered at Auschwitz. Only his older sister survived.
Ma force, c'était un trésor que je portais en moi. Ce trésor, c'était l'amour de mes parents. C'est ça qui me donnait la lumière quand il faisait noir et la chaleur quand il faisait froid.
The artist has channeled his trauma into paintings and monumental sculptures, like this one at the Drancy Memorial. Some 100,000 Jews were interned here before being deported to death camps. At the end of this train track, a carriage that symbolizes a trip with no return. Next to the structure, a message in stone for passerbys, reminding them to never forget.
January 27th is the International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Around the world, and here at the Willy Brandt Center in Jerusalem, we commemorate the victims of the Holocaust. This year, we want to give a special tribute to the Jewish painter Kirtzenbaum. He was born in Poland and studied at the Bauhaus in Weimar, where he received guidance from Paul Klee and Wassily Kandinsky. He became a recognized artist in Berlin. With the rise of Nazism, he moved to Paris. He actively and successfully contributed to the European world of arts. Kirtzenbaum was one of many artists whose memory and work was to a big part lost in the Holocaust. He survived, but his wife and most of his relatives were murdered in concentration camps. His studio in Paris was looted and most of his creations destroyed by the Nazi. Thanks to supporters like the Baroness Alix de Rothschild, and very much thanks to the commitment of his nephew Nathan Diament, some of his work was saved and his memory is still alive among today's generation. Nathan Diament is himself a Holocaust survivor who was hidden as a child during the Second World War by a Christian family in Belgium. He will now kindly invite us to his home in Tel Aviv.
Thank you for coming to meet me here in my apartment and try to tell you in a few words about my personal story and what I'm doing today, my research about the painter Kirtzenbaum. I was born in 1938 in Belgium, in Brussels. The sky was grey, it was raining, and today when you come to visit me here, the sun is shining and the sky is blue. What I want to say is that we had difficult times, but let's be optimistic and look at the future and be optimistic. The world can be good, but we've got to believe it, and that's what I've tried to do in showing you what I've got here in my place. We survived in Belgium thanks to three families that saved us, and we were hidden during 2 years. All these families got the title of Just Among the Nations from Yad Vashem, and I was very glad to participate in Yad Vashem research, and today I'm a member of Yad Vashem, a commission of the just, and I think that these people were all great people, and thanks to them, my family survived. You can see here my two brothers and I. Here is my old brother, Jackie. That's my young brother, Amos. He was called Paul because they gave in 1940s, they already gave non-Jewish names to children because of being afraid of the Holocaust. That's me. That's just after the war, in 1945, we come back and we meet the three brothers. Unfortunately, my old brother was killed during the Yom Kippur war. One of the interesting things with this brother is that when we met him in 1945, he couldn't speak French because he was hidden in a family that spoke only Flemish. So our first meeting was incredible. We looked at each other and we couldn't speak because we didn't understand. He didn't understand French and we didn't speak Flemish. But these are the small memories that we have got from after the war. But it was great to be again together in 1945. At the end of the 1990s, I discovered that my granduncle that was a painter, was a great painter because we got the archives from family, from my mother and my aunt. And when I got all the archives and I lived with the paintings of my uncle in our home in Belgium and then in Israel, I thought that maybe he's a great painter, and I went to the Israel Museum to ask if they heard about it or know about it. And they told me, Nathan, we have painting of Kirtzenbaum. So I looked at the painting and they told me he was an important painter. And Alex de Rothschild, she was involved in saving him, and she gave to the Israel Museum these paintings. So I asked them to come to my place and to see what we've got in our home. The main curator of the Israel Museum came, had a look at the paintings and the archive. He told me, Nathan, don't let him die. He was an important painter, and unfortunately, he has disappeared. And then I decided, after these words, to leave my activities and to get involved in research. I discussed with some, with the Israel University, Ziva Meisner, she was the head of the department, and when I showed her the works of Kirtzenbaum, she told me, Nathan, you come to study at Jerusalem. So for 2 years I was a student studying art, something that I never did before. And what she did, I said, I am not looking for a title, but I want to understand what happened during the periods Kirtzenbaum was living. And for 2 years I was there. My wife was very happy because I was not too much at home, and I was great. It was great for me because I was in Jerusalem, a beautiful city, and with very nice girls around me. So the world was perfect. So obviously what I was looking for was Kirtzenbaum and trying to bring him back. And I think that this is really what we have succeeded to do in these 15 years of research. We brought him back. And you will be able to see now some of the paintings that we got from that are in our private collection, that we got from my mother and from my aunt, and that we have lived with, and that were shown already in several museums. One was in ENCA in Israel, the first one, then in Beit HaTfutzot, the Israel Museum in Tel Aviv, then in Paris, then in Croatia, Germany, and now we're looking forward for some more exhibition in maybe United States and Germany. One of the things that I discovered is that he was also an important caricaturist, but because he was called, his nickname was Duvdevani at the beginning, we never realized it was Kirtzenbaum. So some friend of mine brought me some of his caricatures, and we found out that he was one of the greatest caricaturists in Germany, in Berlin, in the 1920s, in between the two worlds. So little by little we learned more about Kirtzenbaum, and I'll be very happy to show you some of the works that we've got here at home and that represent a part of Kirtzenbaum work. This represents really what happened to Kirtzenbaum, the Holocaust, and he's running away from Germany first, and then he's taken to the camps in France, and the feeling that he has got is that people are running away, the family is destroyed, and you can see here, you can feel here what are his feelings, and these are not only his feelings. I think these are the feelings that the people had in the 1940s when they had to run away, they had to look for some savior. Some were saved, some were not. And here you can really feel it. What you can see here is two small sculptures that we have succeeded to find. And what you can see here is that when the situation was very bad and they didn't have money, they continue to do something, to try to create. When he was in Germany, he painted many paintings of the village he came from. What is special here is that the Messiah is coming to the small village, and it's a bit like en Sor in Belgium. The Messiah is coming to the people. He doesn't come to Jerusalem. And I think this is one of the things that we can always see, not always, but many times see in Kirtzenbaum works, that is hoping for some positive future, even that for him it was very difficult. He survived the Holocaust. His wife didn't. She was taken to the camp, and 600 of his paintings were burnt in Paris from his studio. And still, maybe thanks to Alex de Rothschild that helped him after the war, he came back to painting, and until 1954, he really, in French we say ressuscité, he came back to life. We find about, with the painters of that generation, and many times we are missing it these days, is that the style is changing with their own life. And here what you can see is, first, he's in Paris, in Germany it was the Expressionism, here he comes to the Impressionism. He's moving from one style to the other, and his style is changing in many ways. Here you can see it also, 1941, it's just when he's in Paris already. You have, as I mentioned, Alex de Rothschild told him that he has got to move, to leave Europe and to live in another world for a while, to recover. And he was very depressed, and when he came back, he really was another man again. And these are paintings that he made in Brazil. So he moved, she sent him to Brazil, to Morocco, to Italy, and little by little he came, and he came back to art, and at the end of his life he's already modern in his style. Here, the article is La Résurrection de Kirtzenbaum. Resurrection. Kirtzenbaum disappeared, but he's back. And I think this is really what I dreamt about, and I'm so happy that today we find him back in museums, and the people that are interested in art can enjoy his art. Thank you very much for coming to me. I appreciate very much Willy Brandt way of Willy Brandt Institution trying to cooperate with me, and I look forward to future cooperation. Thank you.
Our current exhibition opens a door for all of us, and this is by the way of depicting what they have seen, by using a brush, a pencil. The uniqueness of the Holocaust in the annals of humanity demanded from the artist a new visual lexicon. They needed to create new symbols to describe their own biography. And thus the crematorium, the striped attire of prisoners in Auschwitz, as well as the yellow patch are the symbols of a period that they have experienced in their own life. The Jewish family constituted a source of power for the Jewish community in the diaspora. However, during the Holocaust, the families were torn asunder. Children taken forcibly from their parents, and parents unable to protect their own children. Those who survived were left with an open wound never to heal. Throughout history, artists attempted to depict the human body, mostly out of admiration to its beauty. Survivor artist had another task. He had to depict the human body at the time of deterioration, at the time when he needed expressionistic means to describe reality itself, which was distorted to no end, beyond human capacity of imagination.
My brother got an order to meet in one of the groups in Antwerp because they want to give him a job. So my brother went, and we never saw him again.
The first verse is the story you're talking about, noticing like the boiling a frog, of people disappearing, suddenly they take this, they take that, ending with your decision to go into the woods to survive.
The two of us together will construct a song.
We were approached by Jewish Family Service, who were very attracted by the work we were doing and wanted to partner to honor Holocaust survivors artistically through songs.
The songwriters work one-on-one with these incredible people who have this wealth of wisdom.
She wants the story told.
At Kristallnacht, they arrested my father.
Don't go into those cattle cars. It's not a labor camp. It is a death camp. It is a trap.
It's just really a difficult project. Do I really have the ability to reach into someone's soul and come up with something that's going to be good enough?
You can stay. The others go. My uncle and aunt will never see him again.
The whole experience has taught me about the strength of the human spirit.
Despite everything that she's gone through, she's got this spirit about her that is just, no matter how dark the day is, the sun is still going to break through.
All is changing, we are witness, we are love.
You don't need to understand anything intellectually, you just feel it.
Please, let's not ever, ever forget.
Tibor Baranski's face now covers this wall on Spring and Elizabeth Streets in Nolita. Born in Hungary at just 22 years old, Baranski was studying to become a Catholic priest. Historians say he saved more than 3,000 Jews from certain death during the Holocaust.
He did this by impersonating a member of the Pope's team in Hungary, going to literal the death lines where Jews were going to be executed, pulling them off the line, telling the soldiers there that he had the permission of the Pope to do so, driving them out of the country, putting them up in safe houses, creating fake passports for them. Because of this heroism, he was put on a death march, survived that, and then spent 5 to 7 years in a Russian prison until finally being freed after Stalin's death.
Craig Dershowitz is the CEO of Artists for Israel. His group is behind the Righteous Among Nations global mural project.
Our goal with this project is to educate people about the terror of unchecked anti-Semitism, which is very important as that anti-Semitism seems to keep growing, and to pay honor to those heroes who stood up in the face of hatred and fascism and did above and beyond bravery and courage to rescue those in need.
He wants to honor Baranski's heroism and educate others about his life and bravery, especially in New York City, where anti-Semitism is increasing. Fernando "Ski" Romero is the artist who created this mural.
I used the style of art in order to have the art relatable. So I used like a Roy Lichtenstein type of feel where it's like something composed of dots. And that would, bring the viewer in and then create more dialogue.
My wife, Clara, I told her what I want to do. 1, 2, ready, go. So she told me, you crazy. Then I went to my rabbi, told him the same story. He told me also I'm crazy. So my instinct told me that just on the contrary, because they told me I'm crazy, I'm going to do it.
Music made me alive when I was in the Holocaust time. When you play music, you forgot that you have to eat.
My heart is breaking because I'm a family of 30 people I see in front of me. You know what that means? One alone left, alone one. We want to play in Poland. We want to play there for the 6 million people that perished. We want to play there for our parents. It's my biggest ambition in life.
We found the strength to be here with the dawn. Past the raging storm, the light appears once more as the story of ancient miracles magically unfolds. The light of 8 candles revives the flame of hope. Shelo, shelo, yichbe, shelo, yichbe, nero leolam va'ed. Shelo, shelo, yichbe, shelo, yichbe, nero leolam va'ed. Let the light shine on, the light shine on, shine forevermore. Let the light shine on, the light shine on, shine forevermore. And the few fight the many, the weak defy the strong, the righteous deal with evil, with hand of God we won. And we faced a bitter enemy, rekindled by our faith, and the spirit of our yesterday straighten our world today. Shelo, shelo, yichbe, shelo, yichbe, nero leolam va'ed. Shelo, shelo, yichbe, shelo, yichbe, nero leolam va'ed. Let the light shine on, the light shine on, shine forevermore. Let the light shine on, the light shine on, shine forevermore. And the candles in the night celebrate the light as we share in the glow that shines in our eyes. Let the light shine on, the light shine on, shine forevermore. Let the light shine on, the light shine on, shine forevermore. Let the light shine on, the light shine on, shine forevermore.
They march into the capital of Czechoslovakia.
It's very special for me, and it's a very special moment for the family to get these works back. We're very, very thankful to you.
It was so much coincidence
that
it's saved.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I received the house could be destroyed, broken, and you would never.
Yeah, and we would have never.
And I never would
have received them.
I believe that I saw my grandfather. That he posed for Gertrude quite a few times. He was very, very attached to his auntie. He spent a lot of time with her.
He survived the Holocaust making sketches of prison guards in return for scraps of food, but the works of David Lapkowski are only now coming to light. He spent his childhood in Lithuania and was sent to a gulag in Siberia during the Second World War. Against all odds, he survived. His relatives, including his niece, went on to start a new life in South Africa.
They started out in Lithuania. And then there was this movement to South Africa, and this incredible diaspora community was established that allows Jews the freedom to practice being Jewish. It's sort of like this art and the story is reflective of so many Jewish stories. I completely feel compelled to tell the story. It's a missing piece of history, and it took 50, 60, 70 years before this could happen.
Versus what? The artwork is now being made available to the public, not just in exhibitions, but also as part of an international school program for children to learn about the Holocaust, like this one in California.
It's really, really cool how, especially this artist could go away and experience so much stuff and then still be able to come back, remember all this stuff from his past and be able to paint.
It's one thing to learn from a picture, but in these paintings you can see emotions and you could see their stories very clearly.
They're very detailed and descriptive, and you can learn so much from just a single painting.
Lapkowski's work is also unique, as he was one of only a few to survive the gulags in Siberia. His paintings are changing historians' understanding of the Holocaust.
David Lapkowski's art stands out among other artists who depicted the Holocaust because of his sense of hope and his sense of gratitude. He doesn't go to a place of darkness, to a place that we cannot follow. He keeps the sense of liveliness, the sense of color in the surface of his work.
Kauders died in Israel in the 1990s, but his work lives on. He never sold his art, hoping instead it would bear witness to the past. Decades later, his wish is finally coming true.
Samuel Bach, of course, from 1946 till just a few years ago. So it's really an opportunity for someone to come in to learn a little bit about Sam and his life, both as an individual and an artist, his experiences in the Holocaust, which really have influenced all of his work and all of the pieces that we see here today. And then for them to think about their own individual experiences and what might spur in conversation based off what they're seeing. This is one of my favorite walls in the show and works because these have never been on display until now.
What is wonderful is that I was able to choose the most important things that I have done. Because throughout my life, I always put aside important paintings for exhibitions and for what I wanted to remain after me. I wanted to remain that a body of works that really expresses my life and my thought and so on is put together, does not have to be searched here or there for various collections, as it is all together. And it is something that can have a life of its own, that would survive me and would have people that take care of it. And I must say that Omaha gave me this sense, which is absolutely priceless.
So with Underground 2, you have a painting that's a little bit darker. Sam says that there's humor here because the chess pieces are all huddled together and mixed and matched and hiding underground. But I think that's a fairly dark humor that Sam can have. I think this museum can become a space for conversation where people will come and look at a piece and ponder how this reflects upon their own life. What does it mean in 2023 to look at a painting about war and potentially migration? We start to think immediately about the situation at our own borders.
We've been incredibly privileged as a city to have received this gift of Samuel Bach's work every day. Every day his work inspires me to be a better artist, but also to be a better person as well, to think about ethics and justice in a whole new way.
I hope that by seeing this kind of different reality from the one that they usually see, that it brings them to question their perception of what they find as normal, that they think a little deeper, a little further, and they have maybe a better view of the possibility of what they can contribute to the world by having their eyes a little more open.
Here we see in this canvas as well the splattered paint, which you could say could be blood, it could be a number of things. But when I look at this work, I see sort of this calling for me as an artist.
I will tell you the story of a human being who was born into a Jewish family in Osnabrück in northern Germany on December 11th, 1904. His father ran a hardware store and was quick to support him in his artistic vocation. At the age of 18, he left for Hamburg and Berlin to study art. His first paintings are family portraits, family vacations with a touch of self-deprecation and melancholy. His preference for self-portraits evokes his questionings as a man, son, and artist. He will quickly be recognized by his peers as a talented contemporary painter. But this promising future tumbles with Hitler gaining power. He exiles Rome in 1933, Paris and Ostend in 1935, and Brussels in 1937. On May 10, 1940, Germany invades Belgium. Belgian police arrest Jewish refugees from all four corners of Europe. He is sent to a concentration camp in Saint-Cyprien in the south of France, where he is only able to draw sketches of what he is going through. He escapes and returns to Brussels, where he takes up painting again, living hidden with his wife. On June 20th, 1944, Felix and Felix Nusbaum were discovered and arrested by the Wehrmacht in their attic on Rue Archimède in Brussels. They were betrayed by a neighbor. Both were deported on July 31st, 1944, on the last train from Belgium to Auschwitz. They perished there in the gas chambers on August 2nd, 1944. From 1942 to July 31st, 1944, 24,916 Jews, women, men, young and old, were deported from Belgium to the Auschwitz extermination camp. Only 1,206 of them survived. If I perish, do not let my paintings die, but show them to people. Felix Nusbaum, Felix Nusbaum, Judah Eisner, Rudolf Goldmann, Regina Goldstein, Hilda Hirsch, Kurt Körner, Markus Spitzmann, Ilse Bressler, Gisela Bressler, Malvin Laschauer, Arthur Bleiberg, Isaac Kling, Hedwig Roniger, Johanna Stern, Malvina Stern, Rebecca Kornfein, Alice Schwarz, Bernard Wittner, Dora Haber, Alice Hamburg, Bertha Kahn, Blanche Kahn, Regine Lichtenstein, Gottfried Pick, Margit Weintraub, Edmund Eisner, Jankel Abzug, Hanna Spinner, Edith Glaser, Bernhard Gottlieb, Helene Polaschek, Rachel Reicher, Sabine Weizen, Friederike Steiner, Aaron Schwarz, Abraham Koplewitsch, Jakob Grüber, Mixa Weiss, Jolan Mandl, Malka Stolowitsch, and my grandmother and my grandfather, Regina Weissenberg, Abraham König.
Chaque vie est un roman, sauf que la première partie de ma vie a été un tout petit peu bousculée par des gens qui pensaient que je n'étais pas. Mais je suis. Et voilà.
In fact, I'm fortunate to be able to tell you the story of Felix Nusbaum, because I myself was a hidden Jewish child during the Second World War. You who live safe in your warm houses, you who find warm food and friendly faces when you return home, consider that this is a man who works in mud, who knows no peace, who fights for a crust of bread, who dies by a yes or no. Consider if this is a woman without hair, without name, without the strength to remember. Empty are her eyes, cold her womb like a frog in winter. Never forget that this has happened. These words, engrave them in your hearts, when at home or in the street, when lying down, when getting up. Repeat them to your children.
This was the beginning of a horrible life to follow in 1944. Soon a train with many cattle cars arrived and took all of us to Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp.
Nobody could imagine he would take people into the gas chamber. We only learned later that people went to a concentration camp and never came back.
There was one particular group of people called the Exterminator Group of Nazis with a skull emblem on their cap. They were known as Vernichtung. They went into villages at random to kill human beings. They were exterminators on foot.
Three hours before the Russians walked into Krakow, they packed us in coal cars and sent us to concentration camp. 85% of the people who were on that train died. We were liberated by American troops. We were liberated by Patton troops. Love is stronger than hate.
was given the gift of inherited trauma. I wasn't firsthand, I wasn't in Auschwitz, but the inherited trauma, the anxiety, the difficulty in creating a life, the belief that you can, the strength. What other story is there? You know, I'm a Holocaust survivor's daughter. The bar for living for me was raised very high, no childhood. You absorb their anxieties, you absorb their heartache, you try to be really perfect, looking at their faces, trying to make them happy, trying to make life good. And for a long time, I felt very sad for them, really sad, like really sad. And then all of a sudden, as I got older, really just maybe in the last 10 years, I think, wow, their strength. Can you imagine surviving that horror, that tragedy, and coming to a new country, learning the language, being successful, working hard. The message is you can survive. Having had a mother who survived Auschwitz at 21, but insisted on talking about the beauty of her life before the war, and as the only daughter, wanted me to live that life of beauty, and it became my life's work as an artist and a writer. I'm very interested in the survival of beauty. In 1979, I became obsessed with my father's number tattooed on at Auschwitz, A3146, which I'm sure I had seen my whole life but felt like I had never seen, and did close to 300 works with that writing. And the paintings got completely black. I just let it go as long as I could, and then all of a sudden I was finding light in the work. And from then on, I think the search has been towards light. Every single work was acquired by a priest, by a museum, and what that taught me is from then on, the only way I can work is from my heart. Art is a powerful language. And it's not a threatening language. You don't have to hit anybody over the head with it. You either enter it and are ready to hear the music, the poetry, the Primo Levis, the Elie Wiesels, the literature written, the films made. What's interesting about my doing the Holocaust series in 1979, it was before Schindler's List, before Holocaust museums, there was just such a personal need to express what had happened. I'm always amazed, you know, when people come to openings of mine or museum exhibitions and I see in there, you know, somebody's wiping away a tear or somebody's smiling, or my art has been a vehicle for expressing love. It's not enough anymore to just remember, you know, to saying never again is fine, of course, but to commemorate it and then to move on to how do we move on. And for me, it's been through painting, through lecturing, through traveling, through talking to minorities, believing in the freedom of fear. I think it can, look, you either get up or you lay down, and I was taught to get up. My father, to this day, if I call him with anything that to me is like a great big deal, he'll say, Mindela, if you live a life, things happen, period. And that's how he lives his life.
One who hears the captives crying for freedom now. You are the one who hears the captives crying for freedom now. You are the one who hears the captives crying for freedom now. You are the one who hears the captives crying for freedom. Oh, bring them home, bring them home. Every last man and woman and child, bring them home, bring them home, bring them home. justice on our enemies. Pour out your justice now. Pour out your mercy on all captives. Pour out your mercy now. Oh, bring them home. Bring them home. Every last man and woman and child. Bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home. Every last man and woman and child. Bring them You are the one. You are the one. You are the one. You are the one. You are the Bring them home. Bring them home. Every last man and woman and child. Bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home. Every last man and woman and child. Bring them home. Ana Adonai Hoshiana. Tevota Mabaita. Ana Adonai
Am Yisrael Echad, and we ain't going nowhere, going nowhere. Ain't nobody crushing us, ain't nobody touching us. They may think they're winning, but they're strengthening our spirit, cause we're a closer family. Even after tragedy, they was hoping we just break down. It ain't happening. Did you really think you're gonna come at the chosen ones? Everybody came and gone, we the only ones who still around, and we're feeling super proud. I've been hearing lots of Am Yisrael Chais around town. Okay, you got all the media in your corner, cool. We got the creator in our corner, ooh. Now you all see why we different, great. Could you leave us alone for a minute? Thanks. Jewish people, keep your head high. Don't you let nobody ever try to take your pride. Wear that crown and wear it proud. We still here now, cause we ain't going nowhere. We've never been more alive. I'm Yisrael Echad, and we ain't going nowhere, going nowhere. Did you think I pay any mind to my haters? Nah, I just put my faith in He who made us. Now take a close look at my people. We use our life to fight the evil. We're beautiful and strong, and we've been knocked down, but not a single time have they seen us drop the crown. And I'm just so proud of my nation. Every time I think about it, I'm like, man, it's amazing. Friends come and go, but families forever. We've been through it all, but we still all together. And those who were against us, we gon' never forget you. To those who stood by us, we gon' always remember. Keep shining, keep grinding, keep keeping the faith. I know it's hard, but I wouldn't have it any other way. We at the finish line, so hold on tight and don't you ever forget. Am Yisrael Echad. We've never been more alive. Even though we cried, and we ain't going nowhere, going. Even though we've cried, we've never been more alive. I'm Yisrael Echad, and we ain't going nowhere, going nowhere.
Please check out our new on-demand releases coming every week, right here on all of the JCHR 10/7 streaming video channels. Again, this is Jeffrey Geisner thanking you for watching, and I will see you again next week on demand. Bye now.